Hello and welcome to Infinitely Lily. My name is Maria and today I'm going to be doing an energy update for the Awakening Collective of twin flames, soulmates, starseeds, empaths, and all other energetically sensitive archetypes. I'm leaving this open to spirit as usual. The energy has been extraordinarily intense. I've been trying to make videos all week and I just can't pinpoint the most important thing to talk about right now because there's just so much. Everything is happening on an energetic, physical, mental, emotional level at hyper speed, and I'm just having a hard time grounding those energies and relaying them quickly enough. I feel like I need to get this information out there as quick as possible, and it's changing as I'm speaking it almost. So I'm having a hard time figuring out what to post right now because I want to post everything. I actually just took down my previous video, if you've seen that from the other day. From yesterday, I posted it. I actually recorded it last week, and then I posted it, and then I took it down, and then I posted it again, and then I took it down. It's just a lot. It's very intense information. It's really heavy. So I thought I'm just gonna take it off for now because really my intention for this channel is to share with you the underlying reasons for what might be perceived as chaos in the physical. I'm here to show you the energetic reason why things might be playing out the way that they are. So a lot of us so Spirit's here and they're just guiding me already. A lot of us are feeling this. You might be feeling flat out, like you've just been flattened to the ground. I see this a lot, specifically for the Divine Feminine. She might just be feeling full out squished. The energy might be really heavy for her right now. I'm feeling this as well. I see a lot of other people feeling this. Collectively, I see this as occurring. The Divine Feminine is feeling defeated. But what is actually happening, I believe, is that the Divine Feminine has surrendered to the fight, the inner fight that she's been going through for the last few years. This internal struggle of being good enough, literally, has perhaps manifested differently for each and every Divine Feminine. But I see it literally coming down to her own inner battle of her devil and her angel on her shoulder, trying to figure out who the heck to listen to. One day she listens to the devil, the next day she listens to the angel, and it's just been this back and forth, teeter-totter, swinging from one imbalance to another over and over and over again in every area of her life. And she's just decided, I'm not going to fight anymore. Whether that meant, maybe she said that, outwardly to the world or inward to herself and her inner battle. But I feel this Divine Feminine has thrown her hands up and said, no, I'm not fighting anymore. Like whatever, you win kind of thing. Whoever the you is might change for you in your situation. But I really do feel like the Divine Feminine is fed up, and she has surrendered or given in or gave up in the sense of she's not fighting anymore. I've said this lots before that giving up, what we deem the word giving up, it has a very bad negative connotation to it. Giving up means, like stopping what you're doing and never doing it again. But generally, the reason why we feel the need to give up is because we're holding on to something. If you watched my video last time, my previous video, about a child holding on to the doorknob, they're like, come on, let's go. There's better, we're going to the zoo, we're going to the mall. No, I don't want to leave my toys behind. And the kid's hanging on to the front doorknob and the parents are trying to pry him off, and he's not giving in. He thinks the best is in the house, and he's holding on to it. And finally he lets go of the doorknob and he gets flung forward, twice as fast to catch up really to where he was or where he's going. And that's kind of what's happening here. The divine feminine is holding on to, specifically the divine feminine has been holding on to this internal battle. So she's really feeling this pressure to be good enough. She can't figure out who to listen to, the angel or the devil, and it's going back and forth. And she will realize, if she hasn't already, that giving up actually creates this liberation, this sense of liberty, and this freedom. Because what you're actually giving up is the thing that you've been holding on to, the thing that you were too afraid to let go of. Some negative emotion that you were too afraid to, you thought if you let it go, you would never get it back again. Maybe it was the feeling of, I have to do this project so well so that I look like a good person, or so that I am a good person, or so that I am enough in some way. So I'm enough of a parent, or enough of a partner, or enough of a female, whatever it is. This is the divine feminine struggle that she's been going through collectively for a long time, but it's been really pushed to the surface over the last year and a half. And by letting go and essentially giving up in her mind, in her egoic perspective, she's giving up. She's actually going to feel this peace, this inner peace be created within her that's actually going to allow her to do the thing that she was trying to do that was becoming too hard, with much more grace and ease than she ever thought possible. I keep seeing, like, divine feminine, she's wanting to sit on the couch. I just need to sit on the couch. I just need to relax. I just need to, have a moment. And this judging of yourself, this two different versions of yourself, is what's causing, this chaos. The devil yelling at the angel. There's two of you. Like, there shouldn't be two of you, and that's what I'm getting at. That's what makes it so confusing, is because we have to decide, who do we pick? Do we pick the devil or do we pick the angel? Why do we have to pick one side? Like, we have to figure this out. If you've seen in my Patreon group, I talk about the why in the road, and that's really what's happening here. And Spirit wants me to say right now that I'm talking to the divine feminine, but I'm talking to the divine feminine within us. So that's for men or women. It doesn't matter about gender. This is specifically talking about the divine feminine energy within us that is awakening. So you could definitely resonate with this and still be a man, or resonate more with a masculine term. So what happened in 2020, we went through this deconstruction phase where we became completely fragmented. So this is actually happened on an energetic level in 2020, but now it's happening on a physical level now in 2022. So on an energetic level, we had to, if you can imagine energy being like a ball of yarn, going back to my original analogy from my last video, and it's just a big chaotic mess. And most of us have thought forms or limited conditionings, or literally just thoughts, right, that are connected together. So one negative thought is going to trigger another negative thought, and then you start spiraling down into this deep despair. One negative thought triggers another negative thought, and you just go in there, and it keeps going and going and going. So in 2020, we had to break them down. We had to literally take each thought and we just put them out separately and strung them all out. But in the process, we created separation within us. We had to create space, and we blew ourselves up. And we're completely fragmented, completely fragmented consciousness. So almost like fragmented consciousness is anything that we make. So like the chair or a couch or whatever. So we kind of became fragmented. We got rid of the natural process of thought. We became hyper aware of the thoughts that we were going through, or whatever, every single thought that we had, so much to the point that they became choppy, that they were not fluid anymore. But we had to do this in order to restructure the whole system, which is what we're doing now. But in the process of taking all the strings of thought and stringing them out, literally the neural pathways in our mind that, play the same thought based on stimuli, they all got strung out, and we then started grouping them together. These are good thoughts. These are bad thoughts. And we started grouping them more and more and more and more and more. And in that process, we started pulling ourselves apart more and more and more and more and more, creating more divide. This is really good. This is really bad. And that deep polarity was like literally splitting us in half. And I see this happening like in 2021. And actually on an energetic level, we were still really starting to feel it. And it really it caused like a split between the polarity of the 3D ego and the spiritual ego. Actually, the spiritual, also 3D ego over here and spiritual ego over here, because that's kind of what I've been doing. Or more so the more feminine energies and the masculine energies. The masculine ego is more like the 3D ego, and the feminine ego is more like the spiritual ego. Still extremely out of balance. But we categorized them so much so that they became complete opposites. There is no gray area. It's just black or white. That's it. And this literally, like on a physical level, started to manifest as like the left and the right side of the brain for many people, not connecting, not working together. And I seen, and this could have, this might just be a group of people going through this right now, but on a collective level, I do believe we're experiencing this. But you might have experienced this before or later, depending on your personal journey. But this, I believe, is a collective wave energy that you could ride in. There are different ones. They're more narrowed down now as we're funneling together. So there are less to choose from as we are becoming more and more into union. But nonetheless, it is your own personal experience. You might have experienced this earlier in your life at some point. So as these energies started to separate more and more, this is good, this is bad, this is still an ego, this is a spiritual ego. This is your spiritual ego is telling you, oh yes, you must work out every day and you must be a good person. Oh yes, you must make cookies for your neighbor. So they're just telling you all the things you have to do in order to be good enough. It's like, it sounds nice, but it's just being a goody two shoes, so much so that you're inauthentic because you don't actually want to do those things, or you feel it causes you guilt and shame because you're not living up to this idealism of your spiritual ego. And then your 3D ego is more like, come on, let's just relax. I just want to relax, or blah, blah, blah. Generally, when we start our spiritual awakening, we'll say before 2019, 2017 was a 1 year. So 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 7 is a 1. That's 10. So 0 plus 1. 1 plus 0 is a 1. So 2017 is really when we started to experience big, extreme changes in the collective. And that's when we started really breaking down things and going through the spiritual awakening process on a global level. People had sporadically done it before, but now we're all kind of in that process, in the washing machine of the spiritual awakening, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical awakenings. And now we're in, when we got to 2020 was a 4. So right before, 4 is like the last, it's a very empowering year, but it's a year before the huge transition of 5, because 5 like tips the scales from one side to the other. So that's 2021. So 2020 is kind of like clearing out the old, is what we were doing big time. Obviously, we've seen that. And we really started to, the more spread apart we got and became, the more polarity we've created. And just going back to my original point there. It's okay, it'll come. But anyway, so we are now working on into 2021 is a 5 year. So that's the transition year. So last year you can look back and see, yes, it was a huge transition year. And 2022 is a 6 year. It's all about good and bad karma, balancing the scales of karma, moving into number 7, 8. 8 is the affinity, but we're starting to really establish balance with the 6 year. 666 is about karma, really, good or bad. So we became so disconnected with ourselves, our right hemisphere and our left hemisphere and our brain were no longer connecting for many people, and on a global level as well. It was like, oh, you're right winged or you're left winged, or you're anti-vax or you're pro-vax, or it was just very like black, white, no gray energy. Even though it existed, people weren't capable of seeing the gray anymore. It was just black or white, and we've seen that really strongly. And this literally was manifested on a physical level for many people of experiencing autoimmune like symptoms, because when your system is completely separated of itself, so your feminine energies and your masculine energies aren't blended at all, they're going to act separately. So if you were more predominantly listening to your spiritual ego, maybe your left hemisphere wasn't being utilized enough, and your right side of your body, because the left controls the right, all know that, was maybe causing you pain. And I think a lot of people were experiencing some kind of autoimmune, even like stroke or memory issue like symptoms, just any kind of nervous system symptoms and neurological symptoms over the last 2 years. Very strange energies, even like you can actually feel the energy moving through your brain sometimes. If you're hyper aware of your thoughts, because your mind, which governs you, right? It is an independent energy that can move around. When you have a thought, it will go in and look through your brain to find the memory. So we can feel that process. So last year we went through the recalibration phase, where so now we had all the thoughts, we grouped them good and bad. Then we started to get rid of the ones we didn't like so much. So we started narrowing them down. And this actually literally is, so you can equate everything on every dimensional level. So physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual or energetic, you can see the process happening at the same time. So on a physical level, what we were doing in 2021 is getting rid of negative thoughts. On an emotional level, we were getting rid of the negative feelings the negative thoughts created. And on a mental level, we were literally rewiring the system, or beginning to rewire the system. And on an energetic level, the energy is just so intense right now. I don't know if you guys are feeling that too. It is like, whew, I am floating on a cloud. It's just a lot of information. Very deep information. Let's have a little bit of water. I do drink from a gigantic glass jar. If you're feeling this energy at all, just take a moment and breathe and reground yourself, because I am going so deep into the psyche on every level. And like I've said before, so I work through spirit. So spirit is giving me the information to speak about They're giving me the energy and I translate it consciously. But because of that, it is encoded with different frequencies, and the tone of my voice is encoded with light language so that it can penetrate your conscious mind and go into your subconscious. So as you're listening to me, whether you are consciously aware of it, cognitively aware of what I'm saying, is still going to go into your subconscious mind and start to rewire and reprogram things. Myself included. So I do get that a lot. Yes, so on a physical level, we're literally getting rid of the negative thoughts inside of our mind or brain. On an energetic level, we're collapsing negative timelines. Timelines are different paths in our journey, different options. We can move through different timelines as we move through different thought forms or thought patterns in our heads. Lots of thoughts work on a cycle. Many people will just live the same day over and over again until they one day wake up and they realize, okay, this thought triggered, I woke up and I got out of bed. Thought A was triggered, thought B was triggered, thought C, D, E, F, and then you start again. And you have like infinite amounts of thoughts, like Z to the 12th exponent. Like literally you could use all the parts of your brain, but you're only deciding to use just this one little circuit. So most people will go through that at some point in their life. That's being on autopilot, or you're asleep. You're literally just allowing your unconscious mind to guide you through life. And you're literally stuck in a loop that will just keep playing and playing and playing. Obviously, when we have an awakening, that's when we break down this thought process. This is what I'm talking about. We become fragmented consciousness. We get everything gets laid out, and we completely lose the natural process of thought, which is what we have done now on a collective level. This has happened for many of you on a personal level, but now it's happening on a collective level. And yes, so on an energetic level, we've been collapsing timelines. So we created good and bad, and then we started to narrow them down to what we liked and didn't like. And now we're as we are getting rid of what's called false timelines, or just negative conditionings based on fear. Anything based on fear, anything that was not centered or created from love was then released and is being released. And we're back down to the true energies, one and one. Well, it will just be, and it should be just one, but now we've got one on each side. So we've got the angel is one energy, the devil is one energy. And these energies are, we'll say, the true authentic divine feminine and the true authentic divine masculine. We've narrowed them down and we found their truth. Now, right now, we are now merging them like a beautiful woven rope. And it is so intense. I am on a twin flame journey, and I know that a twin flame journey is about your own inner experience. However, yesterday I had this experience where I met my true divine masculine, and I realized that the twin flame journey has nothing, literally nothing to do with what I see on the outside. It is only an internal journey, and the person I am with it could be anybody, but that who I'm drawn to is just mirroring to me what I need to see. It is not any specific person. It is always about what's inside. It is never about one specific person that you need to meet. I really don't think so. You will have a person that you have a deep connection to, and I've talked about this before, that will help you see yourself authentically. And I've talked about this in the last video. Your gatekeeper, the person who can see you without your limited conditionings and without your limited beliefs. But also maybe that's your gatekeeper. It's different than a twin flame energy. We generally associate twin flame energies with someone who has the exact opposite conditionings, manifested conditionings as you. So you have the same thought loop, the same cycle, but you do it opposite. So that when they do it, it annoys you. And then you can take that and mirror it to yourself to see, okay, why does that annoy me? And what can I say about myself? A twin flame relationship generally is every single time, I don't like that. When you say I don't like that to somebody, you should just say I don't like that when and you'll probably see what the mirror image is. But anyway, I seen my divine masculine for the first time. Not so much what they look like, but I felt them. I seen them as a physical person, and I was just like, wow, I'm very in love with my divine masculine. And it was a very interesting experience, and it made me realize, holy man, yeah, like none of my twin flame journey has anything to do with external matters. It is all completely an inner journey. But now we are on a global level, physically starting to blend the energies of the masculine and feminine, something never done before because the energies have never been in balance. We have been governed by a patriarchal or a masculine ego for eons. I talked about those lots. We are now deconstructing that as we have. As the true authentic divine feminine rises up, the true authentic divine masculine is capable of being reborn. And now we have the energies, and now they are merging together, reestablishing balance between the left and the right, and creating a center line in our being. The other day I was because I can feel the energy. I can feel my thoughts. When my thought wants to wander, I can feel it, and I stop it, and I bring it back to the center. And I ground it down, my center, like this. This might be something you could do in meditation. It's totally possible. Other people have been saying they've been feeling similar things. And I was grounding it, and I did a little cross like this, just like Catholic religion does. And I was like, oh, it's like X marks the spot. Like literally the center. Like that's what they're doing. I don't know. Maybe that's what everyone knows that they're doing, but I didn't know. X marks the spot to your center. And it was like when we can cross those energies and get, when we tune into this energy right here, literally when we bring all points of ourself into one spot, that is oneness. That's when everything is oneness. That is when love is balanced. When love is balanced, nothing else matters. The beginning of my spiritual awakening, most people experience love in balance because you experience unconditional love for the first time, and it changes your life and it balances everything instantly. And for the first little while of your spiritual awakening, everything is extremely easy because when love is in balance, everything else comes naturally. You automatically, without thinking, know how to establish strong energetic boundaries with yourself and others. You know how to be assertive. It is natural. There is no thinking. It is just automatically natural. It is fluid. But in order to come back to love, when you're in your spiritual awakening or when love is balanced, it's very easy. But when love gets unbalanced, then it gets very confusing how to get back. And that's the journey back home. The journey to Eden, the journey to heaven on earth is inside of us to our center point, literally right there. You can feel it where everything meets in one spot. All of the elements, fire, water, air, and earth, every part of us all meets together as one energy in this one spot. Just like the affinity symbol, this is like, say, the masculine and the feminine, but in that center point, all exists in one spot as one, right? There's no polarity there. And that's really what we're doing now on all levels of our existence and globally. So we're seeing this play out in our global events as there's been a purging of the old energies physically, and then we'll start to see the mending of the energies soon after. We are in the purging process on a more global, specifically more on a government level, as that is really a dense area that we're clearing out right now. Yeah, so as we blend these energies, we become oneness within ourselves. When we become oneness within ourselves, our reality mirrors that image. And I see it happening to everyone. It is extraordinary. Before they talked about the event, well, the event has happened. It is happening, and it has happened, and we're now experiencing it. We are shifting to something extraordinary. And if we are, like, we will. It is 100% guaranteed. It is just how evolution works because of the planetary alignments and the cycles that we're going through. It is like we are just like a clock, right? We just went through, so we were going down from the Bronze Age into the Golden Age, or to the Dark Ages, and then up into the Iron Age, and now we're into the Golden Age. It is like a clock. We see it. Okay, we're at 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock's next. 10 o'clock is better than 9 o'clock. It is higher frequency. We are going there. It is happening. It might not be a pretty process. I don't know for sure. The energy comes in and it comes and it goes and it goes and comes. Our external circumstances, we just when we are in that space of centered liberation, whatever we experience on the outside doesn't really bother us. It becomes an exciting experience. On a soul level, we just experience it. We are not out of into the future or into the past. We are completely present, and therefore we just accept what is as it is, and it's liberating. Like, that's the word that we're moving into, is complete liberation of self. And that really allows complete freedom, no matter what experience you find yourself in. So Spirit's just kind of poking me in the abdomen right now. I think they want me to rewind a bit to the global experiences happening. I have been hyper-focused on feeling the need to tell you what I've been seeing and hearing, and all the information I've been getting, more on like a physical global, in the way of just telling you what's happening on a physical global perspective. And I can't bring myself to really say it out loud. I did post it in my Patreon, but I don't know if it's the way I want to go. Spirit has shown me what's going to happen, and they have been pretty much bang on with what they've said. And I sometimes feel it's my ego wanting to predict the future, and I don't really know. I haven't figured out the balance there yet. But if it is something that excites your soul in some way, then check out the information. But if it's something that's going to scare you, then don't. It's not going to serve you in any way if it scares you. If you feel the excitement that change is coming in your soul, then maybe check it out, because you might be a leader of the new revolution, if that is where we head to. I'm not going to overly speculate anymore, I don't think. I will in my group, my one specific tier on Patreon. That's the only place I'm going to post this information. So if you are interested in more of the gory details, then check that out. Okay, awesome. Just going to shuffle my energy oracle cards here and just see. So we have woman holding a heart in the upright position, number 44. And I've been seeing 44 a lot. I've been seeing 22 a lot. And now 22 has turned into 44. And 22 is a number of twin flames. It's also, number 2 is balance and one half. So what I kind of see with this card is like one half is becoming quarters. So we went from one half to quarters now. It's like there's they're showing me like the cross. Like this is like the Celtic cross is coming into balance with all of the elements coming into balance. It's literally like the crossing your heart. Spirit's kind of showing me that this is going to make sense soon, and this will be the topic of my next video. Yeah, going back to the divine feminine, feeling defeated about not feeling good enough. And as she realizes, she gives up, and as she gives up, she realizes that was the only thing holding her back from being able to do the things she wants to do. And as soon as she gives up, she realizes she has ambition to start to do things she wants to do. It really shows, as we bring these energies together into oneness, there's going to be no inner, the inner struggle is being crumbled, is crumbling, it has crumbled. Soon we're just going to have one voice. So it's not going to be confusing. There's going to be no left or right. It's just going to be one decision. So you just move forward. You just know that that's the next step. I had this experience today with forgiveness. This is what the energy I'm working on right now is forgiveness. And I was like, okay, I'm not ready to forgive them right now. And then I went to next second, okay, can I forgive them? And it was just either the angel, forgive them, devil, not forgive them. And I went and I decided to go into the middle. So I merged those energies together. And I just went into this middle of neither here nor there. And I think we naturally do this a lot. And maybe we haven't done it since we've done this fragmenting in 2020. But I believe this, we're remembering how to do this, how to merge those two energies and just not allow the mind to entertain either one. And as soon as I did this, I felt this huge weight fall off my back, literally. And that's a real thing that can happen when you're holding on to baggage, literally energy cords to someone that you haven't forgiven or someone that, hasn't forgiven you. You literally hold energy on your back because you're not accepting something or you're holding on to something. And when you can create that centered point, it's like you become so streamlined that everything just shoots by you. So I just merged those two energies together, and I'm not forgiving them. I'm not forgiving them. I'm just here. I'm just isness in the middle. And as soon as I did that, the feeling went away, and I didn't care if I forgave them or not. I didn't care if I didn't forgive them or not. The problem solved itself, literally by blending the energies and meeting in the middle of them. It's literally changing my life. With every problem I face, I just realize I'm just flip-flopping between extremes, between one imbalance and another. I'm like, this one or that one, and then I just put them together, and the problem goes away. So anytime you become indecisive, it's because you split yourself in two. There's two of you fighting each other. Bring them together, and the problem won't exist. And literally, that's why when you meditate, you go naturally into your center, and then you get out of meditation and like, I don't have any problems anymore. And then you go out into the world and something happens and you get out of balance, out of center, and then you start to have problems again, and you go back and you meditate and they go away. I talked about this a couple videos ago. That is a great thing, but that also means if that keeps happening, it means that you're not using what you're learning in the training field in battle. You have to start taking what you're learning through meditation and through finding your center and applying it in real time in the battlefield. So that and that is when, if you can find balance in those moments, those feelings whatever is necessary will come through automatically. You'll be like, wow, I can't believe I just said that. And you're going to feel empowered no matter what situation. But yes, the more you tune into that spot, the easier it is to come back there, the easier it is to find it, and you stay there longer each and every time. I talked about that loss in the previous videos in much more detail. Yes, so this is an awesome card. So I see it, the quadrants coming. I think we're about to expand, literally. So, honestly, if I look back over the last year, I feel like I was a one-dimensional energy. I was like this piece of paper that was folded up 3 million times, but I thought I was just like one stick. I didn't know I was. I thought I was deep, but I didn't know I was. And then all of a sudden I started like fluffing up all of the paper, like pulling the little arms down, and I had this big poof ball. I'm like, I just went from a 1D energy to like a 6D in 1 year. That's what I feel like. And I feel like so many people are feeling that way because on a collective level, that's what's happening. So I do see like a cross energy coming in where it's like really, it's going to lock us in. That's what Spirit just showed me. It's going to lock us in. I hope my little speakers. So right now we're still capable of suspension, moving up and down, because we have, left and right. We're merging them together, but there's still this oneness that still kind of moves. But we're going to lock it in right on the heart chakra so it can't move. We're going to lock in love. you guys. Oh my God. Of course. Wow. That is an awesome place to close out this message. I know it was a bit all over the map. I got a little bit ungrounded there in the middle. Sorry about that. Just very intense energies I'm processing here. I hope you felt the energies, and I hope you feel the alignment coming in. Let me know in the comments what videos you want me to produce, which ones you like the best. I do a lot of guided meditations. I haven't done those yet. I also do yoga. I haven't really gotten into it again in the last little while here, but I do plan to do that again. I do a lot of real deep inner yoga where we're really working with the energies in real time. But yeah, let me know what videos you'd love to see here. And yeah, we'll definitely do those for you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.